Hello and welcome to my first comic review. So, I'm a huge comic fan. You can see behind me here a lot of Marvel stuff. I have more Marvel stuff on this side here. The cameras, I have some manga anime stuff over there. And that all over there is some mix between some national stuff. No, but it's stuff it's been like some other stuff, some sort of manga anime stuff as well. But so today I want to review Justice League Dark. I watched the movie yesterday. I had it for a few weeks, but I haven't watched it yet until yesterday because I wanted to have like candy appear. I don't know. I kind of like the DC animated universe has always been really good, especially since of course Batman the animated series, but also Superman and was pretty good. I really liked Young. It's called Young Justice, right? Of course, yeah, Young Justice and so on. The old Teen Titans are good and so on. Most of them are pretty good, right? And compared with the Marvel ones, are pretty like, especially Disney. Where in the movies, Marvel is superior, absolutely superior, I would say. Superior than the DC movies, they're usually pretty bad. Like Suicide Squad, for example, Suicide Squad, they have a movie on that, an animated movie, which is 2004, which is pretty good. I'll say it's actually one of the best Disney movies where the movie was very like iffy, right? It had not much of a story and so on. It's also kind of funny how the animated movie is actually kind of more R-rated, more mature. It's like naked Harley Quinn having sex with Deadshot and so on. But they didn't see that in the movie, so I was like, that could have been in the movie. I don't know, but it's kind of weird how they, as always, usually have more guts, with the animation, right? Which usually makes it better. And this is, I think, it's a portable with darker. So, Justice League Dark it's an R-rated movie, and I have to say that I'm gonna talk about this right very soon here. But the intro in the movie is fantastic. One of the best I've ever seen. It's a 20 out of 10 intro. Intro is amazing, and the word I'm using more for it is gruesome. It's really horrible, emotional setup in the intro, really. And the intro that is word R rating. That is definitely word R rating. However, after that, the movie is way more nicer and more typical of a Justice League movie, I would say. Instead of this magic, instead of like science or aliens. So I don't know what to say really about that, but it feels like Justice League Dark is only rated kind of almost mature audience, right? Pretty much because of the intro, and then it's like whatever it could be like PG-13. I have two versions, and that was a downer for me. So I think the movie was pretty okay overall, but the intro not only was it really good in like the setting and the way it was presented and so on, and that hyped me up for the movie. Then the movie was actually kind of much worse than the intro, but also the intro, as I said again, that was much more gruesome, much more dark. So after watching the intro, you think that okay, this is gonna be a really dark, heavy, people are gonna die. And it's like nope. So I mean, as the title says, this is a spoiler-based review. So this is not spoiler-free. I was gonna go in too much into spoilers, but I'm definitely not gonna say no, this happens. So yeah, so I'm gonna try to not talk about spoilers exactly, but so anyway, the intro is really really fantastic. One of the best I've ever seen in my life, and it starts with you see this woman that she gets in this car accident, like a very, very minor car accident, and she go out of the car and she's characterized right away as like a really bitchy rich lady. It's like, oh, I'm gonna sue you. I have so much money, but I have more money after I sue you. This costed me this money, and she's a great bitch, right? She sees that as her crutches right away, and then a demon pushes her instead of a car driver, and she freaks out, gets into her car, and starts like get a car starting right, and a demon is like it's like punching on her window. And I have to say though, so spoiler, but it's like this is really like 30 seconds after this, that I think it was pretty predictable though that obviously this demon is a human, right? So that whole scene was happening afterward is super gruesome, and I felt that if you didn't like figure out that it was a human, that demon, it might be a less gruesome scene, but it most people are gonna do. And I was sitting there when I watched this scene, it happened now and then, thinking like, she's crazy, they're all demons, it's all kind of magic, some kind of, scarecrow drag, something, is fucking up her mind. And yeah, and that scene happened then is super horrible. One of the worst I've ever seen in animation, especially in the Justice League. They had one other one with like stabbed Darkseid in the eye and stuff like that on the movie, and it was kind of gory. But this is a horrible scene because instead of, which I didn't really like, I have to say, in one way in the scene, while she was characterized very quickly as a complete bitch. But I would feel if I was in the situation, I would kind of just drive away on the shortest, fastest way to get away from the place. But she instead drives into all the demons, right? Because she's like, fuck you, demons. And I guess it kind of fits her personality because she's like, I'm rich, I own you people, and so on. So that kind of works. But if I still to be more egoistic, he's trying to run away. However, though, the series, I say, is very gruesome because obviously she drives into like 20 people. And we see one of them, the demons that are flying up on the car, being like, obviously it's a person screaming for help and like stop the car, but in her mind it's like a demon trying to attack her. She drives them over and it kills them all pretty much. So this is how the movie starts. So I was like, yeah, this is dark. So the movie has a very, very like impactful into that part. And then we see Wonder Woman stopping her car. She gets out of the car and she's like, oh, Wonder Woman, save me from all the monster demons or whatever. She's not that, and what about you, the only monster here? And then we see how Wonder Woman sees the world, and they're all humans, like lying. It's like bodies lying, like 20 people lying, they're dying behind them. So that's the first scene of it. And clearly then we know that obviously people are going crazy and so on. Typical, some kind of mind maneuver there, right? And the thing is that this is just a very, very, very quick, the first minute of the movie. And then we see two other scenes, and these three scenes combined create the intro. They also have even the credits and so on afterwards. And the next scene then, and it's why I really like it because the next scene is also very gruesome, and both of these scenes builds up the third scene. The third scene is, I would say, the most impactful one actually. It is really, I love how they end. So in the next scene then, we see this husband, he has a shotgun, he's gonna kill his wife and kids, and in his view, there's a kind of like fucking Japanese horror, like living blood element with eyes floating around in each big eyes, like it's a child or something, and it's very briefly shown. But that view, that fucking dark. And he's like, oh, where's my wife? And he's like, oh, it's me. He's like, don't copy her voice. I'm gonna murder you. Like I murdered the rest and so on. So here again, then this scene is horrible. Like his kid is super dramatic in the beginning of this movie, and Superman of course stops him. No one dies. But he's like, oh, but I'm right, Superman. Let me show you. And then go to his garage, and there's like a bunch of bodies. He's like, he killed a bit of everyone in the neighborhood. So it starts like, yeah, this is the beginning of it. And then I get the third scene, which was my favorite one, especially because it's very, very nicely how they built up this scene. So in the third scene, we see one woman, she's a singing woman with a baby. So she is a baby because she's a demon, and she is. But we see it definitely afterwards, where she's like a Christian faith, some kind of more religious person, and she's like, oh, I'll give birth to Satan, I have to get to kill my child. And then Batman comes there, and I really liked it because when the other two was like Wonder Woman, Superman, and they was, I'll stop you, you could have killed them, and that was it. Batman, that really fit him to come in there, because in that scene we saw Batman being more like, okay, calm down, let's talk about this, why don't you sleep on it, it's very typical Batman to meet a woman that he can be more psychologist to, right? But it's more about, well, you're not a villain, you don't have a weapon, so that's just like, let's talk it through, so I like that, already from the beginning I like that scene because it was a typical Batman moment, where it's more about, being calm and trying to like conversate with people, more than just like, can I stop your gun, like, because Superman just breaks the gun, right? That's typical Superman way to do it. So yeah, the Batman was very much more interesting. And we actually see for a brief moment she's a child again, and then we go back to be a demon. She throws the baby off the roof. This is like a skyscraper or whatever, 30 floors, 50 floors up, right? And Batman of course saves the baby because this Batman, he does the hooking and flies away with the Batarang and so on. So everything is fine. And the thing is that in the previous two scenes, Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman managed to stop them, right? They were too late to help everyone. I mean, the guy who killed like the neighborhood before Superman got there, but they didn't get the finished mission, so to speak. They're gruesome, like killing your wife and so on. So you think Batman is like, I saved the baby, that's good. But then it pans out, and we see that the mother is actually dead on the ground, with blood like flowing out of her mouth, and she's like neck is broken. Her, she jumped off. While he was saving the baby, she also jumped off, but he didn't manage to see that. So she's actually dead there, and. They will see the cross, like a typical, you know, Christian cross next to her body, like a necklace. That's one of her. So, and then Batman is like looking at the baby, he's like, "I'm sorry." So they're like, "I'm sorry." That's a great scene there. That was a really great scene. So because I love the build up, and shit, this should be the movie. But there was just a good scene, like, oh, super horrible the whole thing, right? I also love the build up then, as I mentioned, we see that in Wonder Woman and Superman's case, they actually, you know, kind of not succeed, but they kind of just stop, because we as a viewer know right away that, okay, these people here, they aren't some villains, they are, you know, they're innocent people that are being controlled, or they are mind fucked or something. Like, we know that they are innocent, they're so on. Especially the third person, because we do get to see the second person, his life, and he is like a douchebag. He was hit as a kid and so on, but he also was a dude with his parents, his child, children and so on. So he was like, I guess, a horrible person, arguably. And the first person, we knew from the first minute he was a horrible person. But the third person, she's like a devoted Christian, a nice person. That's what we know of it. But she seems to be an actually genuinely nice person. And she's the one that dies. So I love the whole build up of that thing. And I didn't expect her to die, of course, because Batman, the other ones were saved, right? But Batman didn't manage to save her. So I think that is a really good start to the movie. And like the intro is fantastic. And then it just goes down from here in the movie. Then the movie just goes down. Then everything else in the movie is just like, it starts like super high up. And then it's really hard to kind of keep that. The movie isn't bad. Like, the movie is pretty good, but it's decently good. So it's hard to kind of, I feel it's hard. Like, they almost like, you know, made it hard for themselves, because it started so high. So then it just could become worse, or it can be equally, it could either be equally as good for the rest of the movie, or it could be, you know, slowly going down or just crashing. So it's interesting. But anyway, after that, they go to Justice League and they talk. Oh, it's probably magic or something. We have to figure it out. This is one of those, you know, 52 Justice League, whatever, the movie. Yeah, so like, they're kind of fresh, right? They don't have that many members yet, as with the previous movies. And they're like, yeah, we have to go and check this out. Batman's like, no, magic is stupid, or something. And he goes home and is like, yeah, it's magic. So it's like that. I kind of like that. The Batman is, of course, the guy that's like, no, you are idiots. I'm gonna solve this shit. And then he goes home and is like, Constantine on his wall. Okay, it's magic. And he's like, then he's the main character in the movie, pretty much. Him or like, already Constantine's the two main characters. Right, so I like that. That was they're really good in that movies. In all of these recent Justice League movies, are really good in the humor, especially with Batman's conversation. Because all the time it's like Batman's. In the other movie we had like what's that, Justice League War, right? Or the Dark Side, I think it's War. Where Batman and Green Lantern's banter is awesome and so on. So here again, I think Batman's actually comic relief in the whole movie. So right at the beginning, he's like, no, I don't believe in magic. That is stupid. 1 minute later, yeah, it's magic. I'm gonna fix this shit. Doesn't tell anyone else. It's like, I'm gonna fix it. You know, typical Batman. He can't go back and say, okay, it was magic. He's like, no, I'm going to fix it. I'm just gonna do this myself, right? So it's very, very Batman. But the problem with the movie, I have a movies here, and it kind of starts right here. So you see Constantine on his wall everywhere, and that is like because Deadman, the guy that can like take over people's bodies. I have seen him before. So that's a super big name in the comic world. He has to do he has to get Batman have to get there and so on. Batman go to Satana and they get a team together, right? Because obviously, yes, it's dark. It's a comic book, and they want to sell a comic book, so they kind of get those characters from that. And Batman is just kind of there, and that's one of the problems with the movie. Absolutely. Why I really love Batman. Actually, I like Batman, and the whole Batman sketch was good. It's if you kind of forced. They're like, who's our biggest name in DC? Well, it's Batman. So. Yeah, you know, that's the problem with the movie in general, because they really put Batman in there to just have the name right. And while I enjoyed Batman's interaction with everyone pretty much, actually pretty much the Batman is the best part of the movie. So it's kind of hard to say that, oh, I hate the movie because they have Batman everywhere and Batman shouldn't be there really, but he's everywhere. But it works. The problem is it works. And the problem is that everything with Batman is actually probably the best part of the movie at the same time. So it's kind of, I could hardly imagine the movie without Batman, but that's like, what the hell would happen then? So it's, you know, so that's a big problem with the movie in general, that it feels like they put Batman in the movie only because he's the biggest name, but it still, you know, created this really good writing around him, so he really works. So it's like, it's hard to hate on it, But at the same time, you know that it's very like, well, it's like it's Batman name in there. In the same way like the Suicide Squad movie was released 3 years ago, or 2014, I don't remember the year when, but yeah, anyway. That is called like like Suicide Squad Attack on Arkham, or you know, something like Arkham Asylum. So to get that game name into it, right? Because of Arkham, especially before the games, but you get like the whole like game title into it. And then they attack, of course, Arkham to get the Riddler and Batman as well and so on. So like in the Suicide Squad live action movie we saw last year, when Batman, Ben Affleck is in it for like 1 minute. So they're really like you know, pushing the Batman, right? It's kind of like Wolverine in Marvel. We see Wolverine is like in Avengers, New Avengers, blah blah blah, and so on, comics book and so on. It's kind of annoying, right? Then they also like Daken and X-23, and it's just So that's a bad part of the movie. But even worse, so I would say that Batman was fine because his writing was fine. The actual worst part of the movie was the other characters in Justice League. That was even worse. So in the end of the movie, and I'm gonna spoil it too. I mean, this is the spoiler-free review, but I don't want to spoil it too much. I mean, but at the end of the movie, we have this big battle, right? Big evil guy throwing magic, trying to rule the world. Classic Justice League story, of course. We already have our Justice League Dark team, which is like Satana, Deadman, Constantine, Erdran the Etrigan the Demon and so on, and Batman, and the Swamp Thing. So we already have kind of a team there, and still they feel like, well, let's throw in, you know, Superman and Wonder Woman and so on. So I really disliked that in the movie. I really disliked it at the end of the movie. So the movie was kind of like I want to rate the end of the movie in the end, but I would say probably the movie was like an 8, and then we went to a 7 in the end because I really 7.5. So I really disliked that. That's like half point move Russell that because it was so ridiculous. So basically, they're fighting. I'm going to not chronicle, but I'm still on the kind of the you know, the naming kind of the movie here, right? So the Orange Batman said, so Batman's in it and it works, but the Justice League suddenly arrives for the last like 5 or 10 minutes of the movie, and they do nothing. Also, they absolutely do nothing. So in the end, like the last 10 minutes or so, Justice League arrives, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Superman. Yeah, no one else actually arrives. So a few other characters begin the movie, and they just screw up. Like they come in there and they become magically and you know, and start attacking Batman and whatever. So it's like, okay, so they're just there and they ruin it for Batman pretty much. And he's like, oh, idiots, and they have to beat them up in like one scene each, pretty much like very quick scenes. And then they aren't showing it. Like they aren't even in the ending. Like the epilogue of the movie, where we say like, oh, this guy died, let's bury him, let's cry to his grave. They aren't even there. So it's like, oh yeah, I really hated that. That was so forced. Just to get like a few more scenes with Superman and so on in the movie. So you say, oh, this is just like the movie. Look, there's Superman and so on. So oh yeah, that was really horrible. That absolutely lowered the value of the movie, I think, tremendously. And it felt like it was so extremely forced. But also then that they didn't even do it in a good way either. Like it could enter it to be like, okay, and then Grant learns the issue and he first fights Batman, but then it's okay, I get it now, and then he helps him. So, you know, they never did anything. These arrive, they are an issue for Batman primarily for like 5 minutes. Then he's beaten up 3 of them, him and Satana, and then it's over. Then they're gone again. Like that is a very weird, extremely forced moment there. And they don't have an epilogue. They don't talk to the character very much. It's like, okay, and they go. It's really weird. And I mean that kind of like comes from the beginning of the movie, where we have to see the Justice League save them and so on. But that kind of worked because that kind of builds up the. I mean, the intro was amazing, and it builds up the villain, it builds up the character, the world around it, right? And then we go over to Batman and his new friends, so to speak. But then suddenly you're in the end of the last 5 minutes for no reason, and it was just extremely forced, as I mentioned. So anyway, then. It's what I mentioned before, because that's a huge issue for me. Actually, a huge issue. I mean, I can't say it was horrible because there's such a short part of the movie, but it just felt like right from the beginning, like when I watched the intro and like not the intro, but like after the intro, and we see kind of like when they're talking about it, the characters, you just know that okay, they're gonna throw in Superman. He's gonna be in some cutscene, you know, and do some crap, and it's gonna be pointless there, but it's gonna be Superman fan was like Superman here. And opposite happens. It's very predictable and so on. For beginning of Batman, right? But anyway, the other problem with the movie is actually kind of Constantine. But I actually was say it right away because this sounds super negative. But the problem with the movie after that is that Konstantin is the main character, clearly, except Batman, kinda ish, but it's about him, primarily the Malik. And he doesn't get a background story or nothing. So I mean, I read Hellblazer as a kid. So I had Hellblazer. My father bought Hellblazer when I was like 3 or 2 or something or whatever. Right? So we had the Hellblazer at home when I was growing up in Nordic kind of comics. So I read Hellblazer since the 80s or whatever and so on. So I have like all those Hellblazers. So I know what cost to this. I know when I watch TV shows and blah blah. So I know very well. I watched the movie. And I think the most people do, I guess, that watch the movie, he's the most recognized character. But though I know, Satana is probably more recognized than me actually. She didn't also have a background story, so yeah, like Satana and Christine doesn't get a background story, but the other one does, and they are less known, so it makes sense. I'm not saying it makes sense, but as a standalone movie, it makes no sense. So, like I mean, if you look at it as a movie, the movie in itself, what we're gonna see then, you can have first. We have Satana is actually the first character introduced for Batman because he knows Satana, right? And then a Deadman, and then we get Deadman's backstory. This is pretty much story of Travis, right? So we have, well, actually we have Konstantin. First it's Konstantin and Etrigan on their own little submission, and then we go to Batman, back to Batman, and he gets like Batman, gets Satana, gets one Deadman. They go to Konstantin, and the thing is that as soon as Deadman is introduced, he gets a background story. Oh, he died and blah blah blah. And he was like a woman seducer, and he got shot because of that, and and then he became dead. And this god liked him, so this female god was hot for him or something. So we gave him some life and yada yada, right? And that ended up to him being, we know who he is and his motivation, and how his power works. And then after we get to course, we see the whole Merlin thing. How they fuse their bodies, this Beast of Blood, you call it, of course. The human there and the demon, like a noble demon, whatever you call him, and so on, right? We get their backstory, and we don't actually get Swamp Thing. I think about Swamp Thing is in there. We get some backstory. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So Swamp Thing is kind of in there. We see his body, so yeah. But I hope people saw mean it. I think that's a huge mistake of the movie actually, that it doesn't work that well as another movie. Because, but it feels like it's trying to be a standalone movie because it's like this is just a little dark. We see all the characters later. We have Batman, everyone Batman is, and we have all these new characters. So let's talk about them instead. But then the two biggest of them, Konstantin and Satana, have zero backstory because they're like, well, you know what they are anyway, so let's have them here and they will work fine, right? And it feels kind of weird. Like I wanted to have something with Konstantin just being like a little, like 5 minutes of his backstory or something, and especially also because even though I know how his character is and I know his character, a lot of the movie humor comes to him being, everyone hates you, you're a douchebag, all this kind of, banter and slanter against him pretty much. And that's what we've seen, of course, with all the TV shows and so on. It's very classic still, and it's a good, I'll say, good adaptation, but it feels kind of out of place if you're looking at it as a standalone movie. It's absolutely out of place. Doesn't make it at all. That ever hates him so on. Like you don't know this. You have to know it from an other material. So that's kind of weird. And Satana, I know how her power works. She speaks word backwards, right? And that spell, that's blah blah. But that is also never really said or anything. I just wish you could have a few lines on that. How her power works. Because Deadman, you get his like whole power explanation and what god he serves. And you get everything about him pretty much. So it feels a little weird there when you get those. So anyway, the story kind of prolongs to that, right? Try to figure out who did these things, people can see demons and so on. And it's kind of clear the way in Etrigan's backstory, we will see that they were fighting, him and Merlin fighting Destiny, which I think is called Dr. Destiny in the comics, and it's not old, right? So that was kind of weird in that adoption wise, because they think Destiny in the comics are some just random human, not some kind of super old magician guy, usually a more technology magic. I don't know, but yeah, that wasn't the same guy as in the comics. It's unique for the movie, I think it was, and so on. And that he also had he could do the people who saw demons. So Etrigan, or not Etrigan, but he has some blood, he saw demons and so on. It's fighting him, so it's pretty clear at Batman to say, okay, this is that must be the guy somehow, right? Yeah, so that's kind of the general part of the movie, right? They kind of figure that out. Um, they have to, of course, do this kind of magical thing. It's kind of hard to review a medical based movie like Doctor Strange and talk about that as well. Because in one scene of the movie, they're gonna enter the second victim's mind or something like that, and then it's it's like everything, any whatever something that does is enter someone's mind. It's always like Inception, right? So it's like, okay, you're in here, and they can. It's really weird scene with him Constantine's talent in his mind, and you see these mind bubbles. And they're like, yes, I can see him being hit by his father. He was a crappy human. It's like that's not his fault. And Stan is like, no, look at this memory. Here he's happy in childhood. And it's like, no, look at this memory, because they're like, Constantine has to be, of course, a bitter, gritty character. Right? He's happy, and she makes entertainment magic, right? So yeah, they have to fight about that somehow, right? And yeah, so it's like that whole scene is weird because as an all kind of weird magic and also or telepathic kind of abilities, right? As well in comics and so on. It's also kind of hard. Like, okay, so what's happening here? They're standing still, or it's his body, or it's time traveling outside in normal in tempo, or everything's just like, and there's no explanation for it. There's nothing for it. A lot of problems in the movies, you know, is that it's kind of like, well, you just accept that it works, right? Like that's just how the power works. Accept that it can do this stuff. But anyway, so they do the travel and they kind of figure out, and I didn't actually see the twist in the end. That who was the main villain kind of guy was. I kind of had some figure. I kind of felt that nah, it's not gonna be. So this is a spoiler. I felt that it was gonna be the main guy. So I don't want to put too much. That was pretty interesting. I don't get into the details there, but yeah, that was really good in the movie. All the fights were good. I think pretty much every battle was good. They had some tornado to chase them, and has like an evil smile on the tornado. So it's like, it's a very classic old school like magic tornado there. Where they also look for the evil grim. It's like, yes, I'm a super evil tornado here. So that was great. And yeah, especially the fight against the Felix Faust there with the Tana and Konstantin, the combo attacks and the magic. That was a great fight. Then we have the last fight, which is kind of like the last fight. I think was worse. It was okay, but the problem with the last fight was that, as in many other DC animation had this problem. The more they get into the story, and with the later like last bosses are coming, less of an intelligent battle do they have, right? So that battle felt kind of, yeah, this is a good magic battle. Like that battle was, I think, was pretty good. Good is from the beginning from it. Etrigan attacks him and summons demons, and everything was good. I felt like he does a really cool thing when he like puts Constantine into the water, kind of water prison, like a Naruto move, and he's like freezing him in the water, drowning him, and Batman saves him with some abilities on. So I think that was really really good, and actually definitely the best fight of the movie. And I think it was a really good movie, a really good fight in that sense. And our fight was pretty good as well. Like the living shit monsters, they were pretty good and so on. They were good in all of, I think, yeah. So they were all good. But the last battle, I think, is the worst fight, because it's kind of like the problem. We have this last guy being so strong that we attack him all together, and he's like, right, and they all just die pretty much. That's a typical issue, right? When they have this last guy being so strong, so individually strong, that even if they attack like 4 or 5 people at the same time, it's just be like, no, and they have to redo it. That just feels so. I don't want to say it really, but it feels like so forced to the drama there. As in, pretty much all the moves, importantly, with Darkseid and so on as well, that the last guy is suddenly 10 times stronger than everyone else is because of this reason. And it feels like even if you explain how he got this power, I don't really buy that he's this much stronger than the other guys, because you kind of see previously we see, Constantine doing this thing, and so what a weird spell, and that is really awesome. And suddenly we have this new magician guy that's like, okay, he's apparently 10,000 times stronger than Constantine. Why? Or they both using the dark arts, like why he's so much better at it? Like there's no explanation for it, right? You just have to believe in it. And so even if I can just say, okay, he's evil, so he's stronger and better, because apparently there's no purpose being good except not going to hell. So all evil guys are better, right? For whatever reason. But you accept that, even accept that, say, okay, I'm just gonna accept that's how it is in DC, so whatever. The battle is kind of boring because he's so overpowered in the beginning. So he's like, as I mentioned, he's like whaps like bugs at them, and then, but then as soon as the battle kind of, like, okay, here's Superman coming in and interrupting, and we finish that, all the crap that makes it even harder. So that it's finished, we get into this kind of, okay, let's use our cheap tricks against him, right? So I think the last battle was super predictable. The second last battle was really good. It was really good from absolutely good from the beginning to the end of it. Everything was great in it. Great use of abilities, use of combo attacks, so on. His counter to Satana was really cool, and everything was really good in that. And in the end, was not expected. It's like not a very predictable way the good guys won. Obviously, good guys are win, but they hadn't expected how to win. So that was great. With the last battle, I was like, yeah, this guy is super overpowered. How can they beat? Oh, I know. They're gonna use some kind of weird, oh, let's trick him with this, right? So it's like, yeah, okay, oh, yeah. They're like, let's see, that Trojan horse type of him. It's like, yeah, okay, it's gonna trick him. So yeah, and it's so DC comic too. It's so DC comic because it's almost like, well, this guy's immune to everything, but he is weak against this thing, right? This is very, very DC comic. They love that this comic. We have both the heroes and the villain having enormous strength. That they're weak against one certain thing. It could even be like stupidity or their arrogance. So it's like, we can use his arrogance against him, or he talks the most about himself. So let's just do that, and he's gonna fuck his mind, and then we can shoot him neck when he's like, So it's so, I don't know what to say really, but it's very, very classic. It's very, very classic comic, and yeah, the last battle was absolutely the worst part of the whole movie, pretty much. Actually, yeah, it's pretty much everything that was bad, because it also that also included this kind of really, really forced enter of Superman and Wonder Woman and Green Lantern, and pretty much seeing them getting owned by Batman's Satana. So it's like, okay, it's like, yeah, that fight was really horrible. But that's actually the movie. I think the action was movie was pretty good up to that point, pretty much. Especially as I mentioned, the last battle being this typical. The stereotypical predictable battle where the last villain guy is so strong that even if they all unite together, they can't even beat him with power. So they have to use a kind of cheap asset trick, right, to get him. And this is such a Deus Machine kind of way to do it, and they do it all the time in this movie. So it's kind of like, but otherwise, so up till the last maybe 20 minutes movie, it's a pretty good movie, like a 9 out of 10 movie, and then it's like really bad, unfortunately. And the humor, I'm not actually the humor. It's pretty good. It's a little, as I said again, the movie is not very standalone. So a lot of the humor with like Costin, his friend Richie, right? And they have this kind of, oh, you forgot about I'm dying and and we as the viewer of course know that the idea for getting help. He thinks the idea because he's sick, right? And we okay, this is gonna be perfect because you're kind of laughing on yourself. Even before it happened, because you know that, okay, Costin's gonna be in trouble now. And it's like, oh, Costin, you bastard! It's like, yeah, there we go. And he punched him, and it's like, oh yeah, he deserves that. So you kind of have that kind of humor into it, and that's pretty good. Batman being the con guy, so he's useful for them and so on. So yeah, pretty good. All the banter and so on is pretty good in the movie. Absolutely. And the best thing in the movie is Batman. This is so clearly, but the best thing is Batman. I'm gonna say super spoiling when it happens and what happens. But there are several scenes in Batman that this like this kind of weird like sound, which I don't really recognize that much from Batman, to be honest. But it fits perfectly. So there's several scenes Batman is like a Marge Simpson kind of like hammer that kind of way, right? And I was like it does it like 5 or 6 times, and every time I was like. The first time I was like, oh, that was like great, and the second time I was like, oh my god, this is so perfect timing. And every time it does that, I burst out laughing because it was such a perfect fit into it. And it's everything from seeing like Satana and hitting on shot, he's like, that's okay, this is my girl, into this kind of like, now they're fighting over, it's like, weak, stupid people, so on. That was really, really good. That's what I mean, Batman really works in the movie, and it's also like. Every scene with Batman were the best scenes, and especially those scenes with like those scenes was hilarious. Some of the scenes then they focus on the magician character, right? Batman is just there because he's a big name, as I said. So they have their struggle, they have their fights, and yada yada yada, like over here. And then Batman's standing over here alone, is looking at them like, you know, and that's somewhat is really funny. It's like it fits so perfectly for Batman to be like, stupid magic users. He's just really grumpy old guy in the corner, being like, I don't like these people at all. I shouldn't be here, you know. And it's just like good way. He's like, it's so ineffective. I should be the leader. I should do like I say. That worked perfectly, and yeah, some other good scenes. They were like he threatening a swamp thing with fire, and then he falls down. It's good. It's a lot of good humor into it, and so a final note there on the movie. I would say yeah, it's pretty good. It's not as good as some of the other has been. I think it's pretty good. My favorite is probably actually. And I hope I say it right, but I think it's War. Was that the one where kidnaps same movie? I think right, isn't it? Anyway, it's the one where they have this amazing banter between Batman and Green Lantern. I think it's War. That is fucking awesome. Of the newer Justice League movies, that one is so funny. Every time Green Lantern and Batman and Flash, it's for the same scene. It's fantastic. That's my favorite one. I would say probably this one. It's actually probably like 4th, 5th, maybe. It's a little. It's better than the other one where you have Superman being adopted by Mexicans. I don't remember the name, but that's the movie that was before this one. I just can't remember the name right now. But anyway, and Wonder Woman is actually from the New Gods, Genesis and so on. And Batman is Man-Batman and so on. That movie was actually really good, I think, and better than this movie. So. Of these new ones, probably like 4th or 5th place actually. I kind of felt that the ending I said that was a horrible fucking ending. That was really bad. The battle before the ending was really good, and I almost kind of wish that was the last battle. But then they had this story part and twist. So it actually makes kind of sense. So it is true though, but I hope it was bad. They had to go to super predictable in the and force against Superman and Wonder Woman and so on. That was kind of weak. And again, then the movie had this weird sense that it didn't want to talk about the more like the famous characters, but it still wanted to give backstory for some characters, and that just felt kind of iffy and inconsistent. So it's like you're spending 10 minutes in this character, and you know this character here is more in the focus of the whole movie, but he gets no backstory, no specific powers, nothing. It's like, okay, hope you know the character beforehand. That felt kind of weird. Definitely did. But otherwise, the pacing of this movie is great. As I mentioned, the intro was amazing, and it had a pretty good just choreography and everything from the beginning of it to the end. And there was very little like when I felt okay, this should push on and so on. For example, when you watched Justice League movie, this probably called Throne of Atlantis, probably, and we about Aquaman, of course. I think it's called Throne of Atlantis. That movie I felt was worse, for example, definitely worse, because it had a lot of this kind of like, get to it, right? Especially this is scene where they go into Atlantis, he's gonna meet his mother and so on. You just felt like this is taking so long, she's gonna die by old age before he gets there. Like, why is so much shit to shatter in between them? Why can't they just fucking go there? Like, why are they standing and talking for like literal in our real time, like 10 minutes? And that's gonna be like, if we as the viewer see the characters for 10 minutes in any kind of those kind of animations, that means it's like 10 minutes or more in their world, right? Because they spend, talking off screen and so on. So it's like, this is 10 minutes of real time talking. That's like 30 minutes of their world time. So this is ridiculous, like, so on. So this movie was better than that movie, but because it didn't have the pacing problem that that one had. It was pretty much straightforward, a red line all the way. The backstories were decent, and they were put in I would say in a good situation. Etrigan could have had it earlier though, but that would expose the main villain, I suppose, right away, because Etrigan's story was entwined into the main, like, you people see demons, so they could have him earlier. That was a little weird then, if you think about it, because you see him quite early in the movie, but his backstory, his flashback is like 10, 30 minutes, 40 minutes later. But it makes sense if you look at it. But the meta knowledge we get from it, and Batman says, right, okay, this is the main villain guy, and Batman commands say, okay, that's your backstory, then I know who's the main villain. Batman kind of gives that right away there. And so it makes sense that they can't have it that early. In one way. However, they could have the backstory, I suppose, in the beginning where Etrigan and Constantine is in the movie, in the beginning, the second scene of the movie, and Batman not being there because he wasn't in that scene, and then they could tell Batman anyway without giving us the backstory. That could actually make more sense to me. But I think so. But I do think that actually that scene should have Constantine's backstory. It's a very short backstory of Constantine, and then we see Batman going to Satana, have a short backstory there. I guess that would be what I missed in the story a little there. It felt just kind of weird they didn't have that. Also, I think Swamp Thing should have something more. Yeah, Swamp Thing. I know Swamp Thing, right? It's already started for a long time, but Swamp Thing is not a very just a character, hard to explain and so on. So I guess they kind of didn't just want to like whatever this is heaven beer. We don't want to bother time with him, but it felt kind of weird. They had Swamp Thing, and it was like I actually wish he wasn't in the movie again. So spoilers here, but they're gonna tell Swamp Thing. They're not gonna recruit him because he refuses, but they force him to fight for them anyway late in the end of the movie. And that felt really weird because we don't get his flashback at all. We don't get some story or context for Swamp Thing. So it's kind of like, how did he do that? It's kind of like, oh, I'm gonna burn this bush here in New York if you don't come here, pretty much. It's like, what? Why would if he comes if you burn one? The first scene is gonna burn flowers in front of him, right? It's like, wake up! I know you're here. I'm gonna burn this flower in front of your eyes. That makes sense. The next thing is like, I'm gonna burn this forest here, and I know you're north of the planet, but I'm gonna burn them here. You're gonna come, haha, right? Like, fuck you, man. It's like, what? Wouldn't he like teleport around the whole planet all the time then? If he's gonna stop him from burning any bush, like the first bush is in front of him, and after that's just kind of weird. So that definitely lowers the movie, I think, all the time because it's sort of stuff you have to know or you have to assume. And the thing is that even if I read a lot of comics so on, you don't really know exactly the incarnation they're using in this animated universe. I think it's 52, right? And you don't know exactly how that's working. Because I read Hellblazer when I was a kid, way before they did this, like, reality changing and DC and so on. But I think because it's probably like consistent though, like outside more of a retro comic, I guess, but still. So I don't know exactly how their powers work or like how this character works or why he works doesn't work, why they like should work and so on. So I want more of that, right? And but the movie was pretty long though, so I know they can't have too much of it. But I still feel like this, you need more of that. That one lacking to me all the time in the movie. And it's just gonna put the blindness on and say I just accept everything in this movie. They say they can see ghosts, they can punch the Reaper. I was like, whatever. I'm just assume it works. So you have to definitely go in there with a lot of like disbelief, right? And it kind of works because it's magic, and when it's magic, like with the Strange movie as well, right? You kind of just feel that I'm just gonna accept everything they say in the movie, everything they say about magic. I'm just say, okay, that works. I'm just gonna do that because it's like, yeah, okay, this explanation isn't making any sense. I'm just gonna say, yeah, okay, that's how it works. just throw out logic, throw out reality here, right, and say, okay, yeah, that works fine. A lot of time, but I don't like that in the end. Though I don't like that in the end. In the end, I want it to be someone said to me, this is how magic works in this world, and yes, we have magic in this world, and here the rules are. Or like, if you do this, you can become this strong or something. And that's something that I guess never really worked for DC, I suppose, because it's kind of like Satana is super powerful, and it doesn't really make sense to speak the word backwards. Why is it so powerful? Why can anyone else also do that? So on. So that's kind of weird, right? And also, actually, I have to admit though, I never liked it in DC Comics, but this movie didn't help, right? Because a lot of different powers, several different magician people in this movie. We have Constantine, Richie, Destiny, Etrigan, supposed to lit. He has magic in all versions there. Anyway. We have the Sun, of course. We have the rich. You have the house and so on, and it's kind of like, what are their powers? How do they work? We have any kind of, you don't need like a power level scale, but it's weird, right? Because they fight this guy. It's a really fantastic battle. It's a fantastic battle, but he's somewhere up here, I guess, something, and they're like a group of people down here. But then suddenly two of them are up here, or something, and it's kind of making sense. It's like, okay, I didn't see it coming because I couldn't see it coming. So, but I still liked it. That's like, I guess I just have to believe this works. And then the next guy is way up here, right, in the power level, and they're still down here, and it's like, okay. And it's like, and it's like, okay, how does it work? And yeah, that's the last villain. He gets power from, and this is actually bad in the movie. The last to me is bad in the movie, and it's like the last villain guy. I think he gets power from people's like despair, anger, or pain or something. Like a typical bad guy. You know, that's very common, right? Especially with magic based or god based guys. Like, I can eat your pain. It makes me stronger. Yes, you know, I'm gonna like, cut people's legs off. You see, if they can live, but in pain. Like that's typical bad guy, right? Very typical super evil godlike bad guy with like low concept of like humanity. It's more about this hurting people, and I guess he gets stronger from that. That's a kind of hate fearmonger. Like the more you see demons and the more you kill your friends or family, he gets stronger. But that is absolutely not explained, and it isn't even said that he gets. It just mentioned that he's gonna conquer like the east. Like I don't know, they probably say like some weird coast or something, but they say like east cities, let's say, and then so in our world, be like New York or something right on the east coast of America. They say that take him hours. That versus the whole east coast. After that, the whole U.S. And then next day the world or something. And you right away there, that made no fucking sense in Justice League Dark. It made no sense when he said that, because we see him like medieval times or whatever, and it's like why he could conquer the whole fucking East Coast in like 1 or 2 days, like modern East Coast, and he couldn't conquer like the British Isles or like this part of the British Isles in like I don't know years or what. They didn't say, but it felt like he fought the other guys for there for a long time. But now he's out there like conquering half the fucking America in 1 day. It's like, what? How the hell? Is he stronger because there are more people living now? So he can like get more anger and pain? So he's like, yes, despair is empowering me faster than I used to do. Or something. I guess that is actually kind of how it works for him, but that is never explained. And also, it never explained because he like flies around there and like it's like getting stronger for every minute. Everything I shoot down, the people are killing each other in building. You can see him flying and like you see him flying to the skyscrapers and everyone's like murdering each other inside of them. So that's pretty gruesome, I guess. Yeah, and he's like, yes, more power. So I guess he gets more powerful if they die, or if probably more emotional, I think, or despair and that. But it's like that is never said in the movie. Like no one ever says that about that he can get more powerful than that. It's just heavily implied that he is getting stronger the more havoc he creates. That empowers him. That is very very heavily implied, but no one else ever says it right out. Says it himself either, or in the book say, okay, if you have this magic stone eats like the spirit something. So if you have it in your body, you get more power or some, I don't know, like whatever. But if you have that wand, then people lie next to you, you can eat their souls, and then you get a stronger wand or something. No one ever says anything like that at all. At all. They're speaking about one of those bloodstones being dream stones. So you can, create the nightmares of seeing demons, but don't say that makes you stronger. It's just very heavily applied. But as I said, in the beginning of we see his past or so on in the bad guy, then that didn't happen to him. Well, I guess maybe it did, but didn't seem to do. So that's very consistent there. So yeah, again, absolutely, the movie's pretty good. But I think I will give it like 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 in the end, because just the end is 1 minus. It's easily. Not just half minus for them joining and so, but 1.5 minus probably more, because there's a lot of bad shit in the end of it, and the whole one character's gonna die. I won't say who, but yeah, and that also felt like forced. Felt like we have to kill one character, so it's it's sad. It's like yeah, those several things they are really didn't like the ending of it, but especially the main guy, so typical main guy and bad guy, and they couldn't fight him, so they beat him with some cheap tricks. And why did Superman or the guys do anything against the main guy really at all? And then also again the power level. I don't want like a ranking list, but you want someone to tell you, because you have no relation to it. It feels really weird where like Green Lantern can't hurt the bad guy, but you never see Superman and Wonder Woman try. So you're wondering if Superman would punch the bad guy, would he be hurt? Because I know magic is good as Superman. In most incarnations, Superman is being as magic. But magicians still have to kind of boost their bodies, right? They can take physical damage. Superman punches him with his, like, okay, I can punch the sun and kill it pretty much. Wouldn't that hurt him? As he's enormously powerful in magic, so he can like shield himself against Superman. And that is never explained either, but that doesn't work and so on. Right? We just have to assume that his magic is so high that he's immune to physical damage, I guess. Or, so magic always make it kind of tricky, but they still has a kind of fucking explanation of it, right? Why can they fly? I don't know, but that is just like, you can just accept that they can fly, or they can levitate. So they say, this magic. But why can they take enormous physical damage suddenly? Because clearly, Constantine gets hurt by a normal punch pretty much, right? And he's a great magician. And then, Superman punches him. I would assume he would die anyway, right? And that's a problem with the whole actually magic thing there in the end. By again bringing in like Superman, because he's so fast, so he's not a Flash, but he's super fast. So they just run in there, punch the guy in the neck right pretty much, and then kill him, but like make him go unconscious without actually, trying so much, right? That should work or so on. So it's kind of like, yeah. But yeah, 7 out of 10. Great action from the beginning. The intro is amazing. But I felt, honestly, as I said, that the intro was so good, so the movie was like super high up, and I was like, this isn't really living up to the intro expectations, but it was good. It was overall good. I watched the whole movie, I did take a break. Like, that sounds like it's a good comment for me, actually. Like, I can usually watch one movie and be like, yeah, it's pretty good, but I'm just gonna read my mail, I'm gonna do some Hearthstone, or, I'm gonna do something else. Or on the same time, right? But I did watch this movie. I was eating and so on, but I watched this movie from beginning to the end without doing anything else and not turning on some game or so on. So it was definitely entertaining from the beginning. As I mentioned, the pacing was good in it. They had good pacing from here to here. Like that was good. It was a good red line. Just the end of it was pretty crappy, so definitely lowered it. And also I felt, as I mentioned then, that like the movie was super gruesome in the beginning, and actually my big at this point wasn't that it was so perfectly choreographed whatever in the beginning, but more that it felt like it was all-rated in the first 5 minutes, and then it was like 13, right? That I didn't like at all. I wish the movie would be more blood to me. No, but more horror, not blood, but the first scenes were horrible because they were horrible in the drama. Oh, he's killing his own kids and it's murdering these innocent people and so on. It was horrible in the drama, right? So it should be more of that. That was the only good part in the last scene. You see the main building guy flying past that mansion. You see people in the background killing each other. That was the best part of that thing, pretty much. You see more of that. Or not particularly exactly that thing, but it could have worse, more stuff like that with Satan. I don't know. You can see some Chato's head. I don't know, but like more horrible stuff, right? It shows some, I don't know, dead man's backstory could have been more worse, more horrible. So, I don't know, but still to me that they could have spent more time on that because they already licensed it to be a metro, an adult. Well, it's pretty much right. So why couldn't they make it the more gruesome through the whole movie? Because I felt that the first intro scene kind of put this, this is dark, this is Justice League. And the League has been pretty bloody and so on, really bloody. The Batman was incredibly bloody with Damon and so, they're super bloody. Arms flying off still. So you feel like, okay, this movie is established, but like the Batman movie with Damon, then people get like gunned down with machine guns and blood is like splashing everywhere. So that movie established this movie is super, blood splatter movie, right? That movie is that from all the fight scenes, which is pretty good. That's the movie, right? And this movie established this movie is like psychedelic magic, you're killing your friends and do. But that never happens again, pretty much. And it's like, or the similar stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty bad. Like, I don't know, some mind control magic and so on. I wanted more of that, I think. I wanted more of the kind of psychedelic, evil magic. But then later it's more like, I throw water bolt at you, I counter with ice magic, and there was more like that kind of magic fights later on. Oh, I become a demon and shoot fire at you. Oh, I summon more demons against you, and then it needs to become Justice League with magic abilities instead of that more teamers. I actually wish the movie had less action teams, I think about it, and more of those, like, okay, who else is doing this? How is he murdering? How is he getting people to murder each other? And so like more of that angle, I think will be much better for the movie overall. Like if the movie started like in the beginning, we see that Superman is powerful, but he can't actually save everyone from this kind of enemy, because this kind of villain has some really horrible magic. So even being the strongest guy in the universe doesn't help you. That would be, well, it helps you, but it would like you can't save everyone. So that would be more interesting. But it felt like the last two battles in the movie, absolutely both of them, both of the last two battles could have been won by any Justice League really. It's like, okay, one super magician guy and another super magician guy, they can both be beaten by punching into the face, right? It felt like so. That was a little disappointing. Yeah, there were a much better movie had the second last villain as the last villain actually, and had some other like more dimensions, so kind of like Batman trying to stop someone with suicide, more of that kind of thing. It's like, okay, I get how it's kind of like this is a spell on him, and it's like, okay, I can talk to him, and that kind of angle would be way better, I think. So he spent like 20-30 minutes doing that instead of having that horrible last battle, and then the second battle would be the last battle. I think that would make the movie much better. Like Batman talking to Richie when he was dying. That would be interesting. I think that would be way more interesting than we had here, because it's darker on a more mental level, right? As in the BS movie, it was darker on the mind more, right? The horrible of killing your family, killing your friends, by you think they kill your friends, you kill the man away, and that mind thing. Instead of going from that into just typical action, fight them and punch them, shoot them in the face with magic. So yeah, overall, that's 7 out of 10. It started out amazing. As I mentioned, it had the whole pacing thing, but it ended really badly. So that lowered it. I love to hear comments about it. If you've seen it, I didn't recommend seeing it. I think it's a decent movie. As I said, it's entertaining. I'm not gonna rewatch it probably. I mean, I probably will in like a year or two, or something like that. I did rewatch it today, then again, it's very quickly, so I can like talk about it. But I'm not gonna rewatch it and be like, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this movie again. So it's one of those I would say like mediocre recommendation. It's better than Suicide Squad? Yeah, it's better than Suicide Squad, but that movie was way worse than its animation movie episode. That's not hard. But I absolutely would recommend it. Was the first minutes of the movie, because the first scenes are really, really good in the beginning of the movie. So yeah, anyway, see you guys next time.